Governing Board meeting. We're going to start tonight with closed session. So during closed session, the board discussed 6 student discipline cases, personnel issues, district labor negotiations, and site facility security. The following actions were taken. We approved the appointment of Catherine, please forgive me, thank you, as mental health clinician 2 by a unanimous roll call vote of 7-0. And we approved the appointment of Corinne Fix as fiscal analysis by unanimous roll call vote of 7-0. And we will start out tonight with a moment of reflection. And Mrs. Stacy, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we get to start tonight with my very favorite thing, student staff recognitions. We're going to start with Sierra Vista K-8, student and staff recognition.
Good evening, board and cabinet members, Jane, and all of our crowd, stakeholders in the crowd tonight. The first person we'd like to recognize is one of our 5th grade students. Her name is Samantha Fossen. I'd like to call her up at this time. Samantha is an exemplary 5th grade student that the Sierra Vista Grizzly team is very proud to recognize this evening. Samantha is an intelligent, hardworking, critical thinker who excels. Samantha holds herself to high standards, maintains straight A's in her academic studies, and has read over 2.6 million words this year for Accelerated Reader. Her teacher, Mrs. Parker, describes Samantha as a problem solver who has insight beyond her years, and she uses this insight to elevate and enrich class discussions. Mrs. Parker also describes Samantha as a person who is respectful to and accepting of all of her peers. Samantha has also branched out to further challenge herself by playing the flute in the 5th grade band. Her music teacher, Mr. Sproul, shared that Samantha is taking on music and the flute with a quiet curiosity and enthusiasm, and she's working well with others. Additionally, Samantha was a valuable member of our Girls on the Run team. This fall, one of her coaches, her teacher, Mrs. Parker, shared that Samantha's decision to join Girls on the Run seemed out of her comfort zone, but it afforded Samantha an opportunity to gain confidence in a different arena and to embrace her silly side while developing camaraderie with the other girls. We believe Samantha is absolutely amazing, and we are proud to honor her this evening with all of you.
And at this time, if her family would like to step up for a picture, that would be great.
Yeah. Come on up. All girls. Proud of all of them. Okay. Congratulations. Is it you now?
Samantha was our elementary student, and we have 2 of our middle school students. So it's my honor to present our middle school students of the year at Sierra Vista K-8. This is the first time that I've had 2 students who received tying votes from staff. After interviewing each one of them, it was clear that they both deserve this recognition. First, I would like to introduce to you 8th grade student Brianna Gonzalez. Here is what one teacher said about Brianna. Brianna is a perfect example of what we are trying to create in our students. If we look at our mission statement as a school, we are trying to create respectful leaders through service to their community. Brianna is one of the first students to volunteer and help out whenever there is something to do. Watching her do Girls on the Run and mentor young girls here at school is the embodiment of what we are trying to create. When interviewing Brianna, it is clear that she has set goals for herself. She plans to go to UC Davis and enroll in their School of Nursing program with a specialty in neonatal intensive care unit nursing. Brianna is an avid student with a 4.0 GPA and takes integrated math, which is equivalent to the math taken as a freshman in high school. In her spare time, she is captain of her cheerleading team called Vacaville Elite. She is a mentor for our Girls on the Run program. Brianna comes from an amazing, close-knit family. She is extremely supportive of her brother's baseball activities and involved with her church, St. Joseph's. When asked who she admires most, it is her mom, because her mom is so respectful to others and helps out with the students at Sierra Vista as a student monitor. I agree, your mom is a wonderful person. Brianna has been a student at Sierra Vista since it reopened in 2016. Previously, she was at Callison Elementary with me from kindergarten to 4th grade. I've had the honor of watching Brianna grow into the wonderful young lady she is today. Brianna has a heart of gold and the drive to succeed in life. She has a bright future ahead of her, and I have no doubts that she will reach her goals. We are so proud of you, Brianna. Congratulations.
So if we could get the family to come up, yeah.
Next, I would like to honor 8th grade student Isaac Carter. Here is what one teacher said about Isaac. Isaac is a hardworking, dedicated student at Sierra Vista K-8. He is a responsible, respectful role model at Sierra Vista. He continuously demonstrates grizzly pride in the classroom and on campus. Isaac is a member of the National Junior Honor Society and actively involved in extracurricular activities on campus. In addition to his commitment to Sierra Vista, he plays cello for the Sacramento Youth Symphony, rides competitively for the American Painted Horse Association, and works with his family training guide dogs for the blind. Isaac truly is a leader at school and in the community. While interviewing Isaac, it was clear that he loved working with horses and is interested in attending UC Davis due to their equestrian center. He is also interested in being a U.S. Air Force pilot, so attending the Air Force Academy is also a possibility. Isaac comes from an extremely close family and gets along well with his sister. He admires his dad and his ability to handle tough situations in his current job. I asked Isaac what he likes to do in his spare time and realized there isn't much spare time due to the responsibility of caring for his horses each day. He did say on Tuesday nights he gets a break from the horses, as this is the evening he is driving to Sacramento to perform with the Sacramento Youth Symphony. During his commute, he is often listening to the music he will be performing or working on homework. Despite all that Isaac does, he finds time to play for the school soccer team, maintains a 4.0 GPA, and is currently going through confirmation at church. Isaac has been a wonderful addition to Sierra Vista. Although he started with us just 2 years ago as a 6th grader, I've had the privilege of knowing Isaac his whole life. I hired his mom as a teacher in a previous school when she was pregnant with him. Isaac has always been a special young man, and I'm extremely proud of him and of all his accomplishments. Congratulations, Isaac.
Mama and Dad.
Family, come on up.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on. 2 more. All right, ready? One. Hold on, not those. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Great. Thank you, Layla.
Okay, our final recognition is for our K-8 Fabulous PTC. So I'm going to ask the board members to come up at this time. And while they make their way, I'm going to start on their description. We are elated and proud to honor our spectacular Sierra Vista K-8 PTC board members this evening. They are Kristen Irwin, President, Payal Mehta, Vice President, Michelle Redline, Auditor, Heather Newman Olson, Secretary, Katie Van Wagner, Fundraising, and Carol Oberle, Membership. These wonderful women have worked so very diligently together and with other parents and staff to enhance our students' educational experience with helping us to continue to have an inviting, healthy, and inclusive climate for our whole school community. These ladies are phenoms at raising funds. They consistently host events such as Dine and Donates, Friday Treats, socks and bow sales, Dollars for Scholars, Grandparents' Day Book Fair, Trunk or Treat, dances, movie nights, and our first Grizzly Spree Fun Run. The Fun Run alone drew in over $13,000, and this event, as well as many others, have not only raised funds for our school, but have created opportunities for families to hang out and get to know each other, and for parents to be involved in their children's education. Additionally, our PTC is bringing in donations from our community to secure supplies and equipment for our new maker space. We are grateful to our community partners. Our PTC President, Kristen Irwin, is our liaison for our students to receive food from End 68 Hours of Hunger, and she is responsible for bringing this resource to my attention. We are continuously blessed and so thankful for this fantastic group of women, and we are excited to be able to recognize them this evening with all of you.
All right, let's get a photo. Go in our room. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Great.
And next up is Jepson Middle School.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, board members, Superintendent Shamia. We are very excited tonight to introduce and recognize two outstanding student leaders from Willis Jepson Middle School. To introduce our first student is our Assistant Principal, Anna Farina.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent Jane Shamia. It is my pleasure to honor Brianna Thiessen as one of Jepson's Students of the Year. Brianna, come on up. Oh, you're already here. Look at you. There are students you come across during your educational career that stand out among the thousands that you've encountered. Brianna is one such student. She's a natural-born leader who takes it upon herself to better her school and her community on a daily basis. She's a member of our student council as our public relations director and a committed volunteer, teaching TK to first grade Sunday school at her church every Sunday. She's an amazing performer and leads the Jepson drill team as captain and dedicates 12 hours a week to her dance studio in Dixon, performing at competitions and in our community. Some of the things she is most proud of is the fact that she is biliterate, así que habla español muy bien, and continues to learn and excel in the Spanish language. She's also a passionate member of the Jepson Orchestra, playing the viola and bass. Brianna epitomizes what it means to be a Jepson Jaguar. She strives for excellence and teaches others how to do the right thing every day. She's a diligent honor roll student who I have no doubt will succeed at anything she puts her mind to. When I asked her what it was that she wanted to do in the future, Brianna stated that she wishes to pursue a career as an infectious disease doctor because, as she noted, I want to help people when I'm older. It's something that I have no doubt that she will do. Congratulations, Brianna.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
To introduce our second student tonight is our Dean of Learning Support, Mrs. Jackie Carmona.
Good evening. Willis Jepson Middle School would like to also recognize Harpreet Bahia. All of her teachers, when I mean all of her teachers, have said that she is kind, hardworking, helpful, and always positive and has a smile. She gets along with everyone and is oftentimes volunteers to help other students. Harpreet is a big help in the counseling office as a TA and is always encouraging her peers. She has even signed up to be a peer tutor. She is a great all-around role model. Harpreet is also a great athlete in cross country. Mr. Marino, her PE teacher, said that Harpreet's positive attitude and her willingness to help others is infectious. She makes the class a better place for everyone. Her high effort and her encouraging comments help to create a positive environment. Mrs. Thiessen, her English teacher, said that she is one of the most diligent students that she knows and takes her schoolwork very seriously. She's a great asset to any learning environment. Harpreet is also in leadership at Jepson. Her teacher, Mrs. Dubbs, reported that she has creative ideas and is always willing to try new things. She isn't afraid to take charge either. Harpreet is an all-around excellent lady who will accomplish big things. Congratulations.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on, hold on. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we will go into Sierra Vista K-8 school report.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Shamia, school board members, and guests. We are here tonight to present our school report. Presenting with me is our assistant principal, Tony Henry. Also, we have with us some brave students of Sierra Vista and our PTC board who will also present some of the slides. So at Sierra Vista, our mission statement is at the forefront of all we do. It guides our decision making and our school vision. We constantly are reviewing our mission statement with staff, students, and our community. Each year, our students create their own grade level mission statement that is reflective of our schools. Our goal is to prepare our students to be college and career ready by providing a rigorous curriculum, engaging students in service learning, and to develop leadership skills in all students.
Hello, my name is Marianne Cabanlig. I'm an 8th grader at Sierra Vista in the leadership homeroom, an avid elective class.
And my name is Tristan Decius. I'm a 7th grader and student council treasurer.
At Sierra Vista, leadership plays a vital role in our growth. We want to practice leadership in our everyday lives into adulthood. In middle school, showing leadership is even more important because we are role models for the younger students.
At Sierra Vista, we show leadership by giving our all and when we're asked to do certain tasks. Some of those tasks include helping to maintain the school garden, interacting with elementary students during the Grizzly Groove each day before school on the playground, hosting the elementary student store, assisting in the office, elementary classrooms, or the library during homeroom period.
Our school wants to help shape our leadership skills to help the public and to teach us to give back to the community. We are developing good decision-making skills, the ability to inspire others, honesty and integrity, good communication skills, and we demonstrate commitment and passion.
Hello, my name is Arya Mehta and I am a 5th grade student at Sierra Vista K-8 school. Sierra Vista is a small school that teaches students not only academics but how to interact in a community. They use acronyms like PAUSE and SLANT to enforce rules and expectations in a positive way. Tonight we will explain how we give back to our community. Every grade has a service learning project. These are fun activities that help inspire and teach students while also helping our community. Although the projects are meant for the whole community, they also honor Ernest Kimmy. I believe that as humans, it is our responsibility to take care of our world, and the service learning projects help with that. In 5th grade, we do a project called Socktober. During the month of October, we collect socks for shelters. Yes, you heard right, socks. Socks are the least donated thing. In October, everyone is preparing for the winter season. Nobody seems to realize that there are lots of cold toes.
Hi, my name is Thomas. Hi, my name is Thomas Irwin, and I am a 4th grader student at Sierra Vista K-8 school. The service learning project for 4th grade at Sierra Vista is recycling. We go around the school and collect paper, cans, water bottles, and glass. We use 2 trash bags and we wear vests and gloves so we don't get any germs. We do this project to collect money for 4th grade field trips and because it's good for the environment. I enjoy doing this project because it helps us raise money for our field trips and because it keeps our school grounds clean.
Hello, my name is Brianna Gonzalez.
And I am Isaac Carter. We are 8th grade students at Sierra Vista K-8 school and in the AVID elective class.
Sierra Vista uses a college readiness program designed to help students develop the skills they need to be successful in college called AVID.
One of these many benefits of AVID is the tutorial sessions each Tuesday and Thursday that we do in our AVID elective class to help us with concepts we may not understand at the moment. AVID also pushes us to be better organized with notes and organization of any other work that we have.
AVID is not only in middle school, it is school-wide. We learn skills and strategies when teachers incorporate WICR, writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. So this means that the AVID program starts in kindergarten and WICR is taught throughout all grade levels. AVID strategies are emphasized through our education to make us college and career ready. Hi, my name is Stephanie Lopez and I am an 8th grade student at Sierra Vista.
Hi, my name is Jake Moffett and I am also an 8th grade student at Sierra Vista.
We would like to explain our Grizzly Pause.
PAUSE defines behavior expectations at Sierra Vista. PAUSE means to be positive, to be accepting, to be wise, and to be safe.
Students who demonstrate PAUSE are eligible to earn PAUSE tickets. A PAUSE ticket can be used at the student store for elementary students, while for middle school students, they could use tickets in various ways, such as using 5 PAUSE tickets, and it allows you to go into the front of the lunch line.
We also have the Grizzly Pride Badge program for students in grades 3 through 8. Students must go through an application process. The process includes writing a short essay on how the applicant demonstrates pause and getting approval from all the applicants' teachers, the campus monitor, and the principal. Students who earn a Pride badge are then given special privileges such as getting to the head of the lunch line, which I personally use every day. And it allows you to go to lunch 5 minutes early on Fridays.
We also have positive referrals that are used for all students by teachers when they want to reinforce excellent pause behavior. When a student receives a positive referral, they will be part of the morning announcements on Friday. When students hear their name, they will go to the office to spin the wheel where they can win a snack, gift card, or something from the treasure box.
Finally, there is a Pause Student of the Week. Students are nominated by their teachers to be recognized as the Pause Student of the Week in our weekly parent newsletter and on our Facebook page. I have personally enjoyed my time at Sierra Vista.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Irwin. I am the president of the Sierra Vista K PTC. Most of the board is here tonight. I just want them to wave their hands again. We got Pyle, who's vice president, Carol, who's membership, Katie Van Wagner, who's fundraising, and Michelle, who is auditor. I'd like to start by saying thank you to Ms. Bozzini and Ms. Henry and the school board for having us here tonight. We are very excited at the progress we've made over this past year so far as a PTC, and we could not have done it without the great support of the school administration, the students at Sierra Vista, the faculty, and all the parents. We approached this year with a vision of connecting more parents and students and teachers to resources through community events, funding, fundraising, and other means of engagement. Like Ms. Henry said, we had our first fun run. We did that in-house, the Grizzly Spree. Our goal was to raise $5,000. We raised over $13,000, and we got to keep almost 100% of it because we did it in-house. More importantly, we had every student participate in the fun run. We gave every student and staff member a Sierra Vista bag that then they could use, and we had a lot of parents and volunteers come out and support us that day. We are also working on getting supplies for the new Makerspace Lab that's being built at Sierra Vista. This will be a place that teachers can bring their students during the school day to use resources that are not available in their classrooms. I'm very proud of our tenacity as a PTC to seek out community partnerships, grants and donations from businesses in the community. And I am so appreciative of our enthusiasm to seek out and listen to feedback, good and bad, from the staff and the parents at the school, and use that to make our PTC better. We're looking forward to doing more networking with other parent boosters in the Vacaville School District. I like to talk with the other presidents that are at the elementary schools. For instance, like we're doing a father-daughter dance at Sierra Vista in February. Markham is using our multi-purpose the very next night, so I'm talking with the president, Kim, and we're trying to share like DJs and decorations just to save us both some money. And then we're really looking forward to getting even more staff and more parents involved with our PTC at Sierra Vista. We appreciate all of your support and the support of our administration and look forward to a continued great partnership in the rest of the year. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Sophia Stanley, currently known as Sierra Vista's president of student body.
And my name is Timothy Reed.
We are both 8th grade student athletes that attend Sierra Vista Middle School.
Have you ever heard of the quote by Maya Angelou stating, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated"?
In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are.
What you can rise from, how you can still come out of it.
With middle school, I learned you're going to come into so many challenges.
And you must find a way to overcome these challenges to become the person you want to be. And
we feel Sierra Vista students, teachers, and staff helped with these challenges, like the 4-point grading system.
And having a dress out in the locker room. Often, I get asked the question, what's the difference between Sierra Vista and other middle schools?
To be honest, the only difference is that our school is smaller, which, yes, means you're going to find yourself knowing a lot of people and being known by a lot of people.
But for us, that really helped us because, like, the friends you gain on the way, they push you along the way while also keeping you in check to make sure you're doing the right thing.
Sierra Vista has its own developing family, and sometimes families argue, but families are always there for each other, and that's what it's like at Sierra Vista.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are looking at the school dashboard. In some of the measures that measure student success, we have remained in the green in the areas of ELA and chronic absenteeism, and we moved from orange to green in our suspension rate. We have stayed in the orange for math, which is consistent with how our students are performing district-wide. However, we are dedicated to improving. We are looking at our math instruction, and just this year implemented iReady as a math intervention.
So on our SBAC results, this is over a 3-year period, and it's also for ELA and math. So in the difference column, that's between the years of 17-18 and 18-19. So one of the things I wanted to point out that in the district column is the district average for 18-19, and the parentheses means that we were slightly below the district average percentage. So in ELA, we were slightly below in 3 grade levels and above the district average in 3 grade levels. I do want to point out that our 7th and 8th grade ELA percentage was significantly higher than the district average and also increased proficiency by at least 10%. In math, we had 4 grade levels above the district average and only 2 below. Our 4th grade made significant growth last year. I want to also point out that the student cohorts, which we follow each year to ensure growth. So, for example, in ELA, 3rd grade in 17-18 and 4th grade 18-19 are the same students. And so the growth, was 50% to 54% in ELA. So vertically, you see the cohorts over the years. And when you look at math, most of the cohorts are making growth or staying the same.
We are proud of our improvement in our daily attendance rates over the last 3 years. We believe our amazing teachers and our positive school climate are the reason our students strive to have good attendance. We are dedicated to reducing our chronic absenteeism rate by consistent caring communication with families, incentives, forming positive relationships, and providing the students the supports that they need.
We continue to meet in our PLCs each week to review student data in math and ELA. We are using the iReady program as our middle school math intervention and have seen significant gains since starting at the beginning of the year. Another area that we continue to focus on is AVID. Each year, we've participated in the AVID Summer Institute by sending all our new teachers and veteran teachers wanting to expand their knowledge base. Becoming a culturally responsive school is a high priority for us. We aim to provide culturally supported classrooms in which the strengths of all our students bring to school are identified, celebrated, and nurtured to promote student achievement. For example, many of our students use mindfulness to help reduce the anxiety and center students. Finally, building leadership capacity not only in all our students, but in all our staff, because leadership is not just for a selected few on our campus. How do we build leadership capacity in all adults on campus? Well, everyone has a strength that will benefit the whole school. Helping others to realize their strength will help individuals develop into a leader in a particular area. The other key is when the individual recognizes their strength, they develop confidence to lead, and then the most important piece is allowing others to take on leadership roles. This builds leadership capacity in our school so that it runs like a well-oiled machine. As Coach John Wooden said, you always win when you make the full effort to do the best of which you are capable. In this case, if all the adults on our campus are putting forth their full effort to do their best, then our students will always win. Finally, I would like to thank the community for Measure A. At Sierra Vista, we have been so fortunate to receive many upgrades to our campus since we reopened in 2016 to now. The new parking lot, new furniture, new technology upgrades, additional science labs, the beautiful multi-purpose room, the kitchen, the locker rooms, the library, and currently the new administration building, which is under construction. I want to thank our facilities director, Dan Banowitz, for putting up with me, and who listens to all our needs and isn't afraid to tell me no. And Erin McGuire, facilities project manager and capital program management, who oversees our contractors. Everyone has been wonderful to work with, and we appreciate all the improvements on our campus. On the side, if you have any questions.
Thank you. No, you did fantastic. No questions.
Okay, thank you.
Great job.
So I just want to tell the kids to meet me outside.
Job, kids.
Yes, he is.
Never mind. Just watch. We'll give them a minute to clear. So I'll just run your microphone into it. No, very true. Very true. Okay, so tonight is our organizational meeting. So we will have election of officers, and just for anyone who doesn't read through our board policy for fun, the way that we do it is that we rotate through. And so if it seems as though it's kind of pre-designed, well, it kind of is. So first election of officers is our election of president. And so I would love to nominate John Jansen, our vice president, as president of the governing board for December 2019 through December 2020. We do need a second.
I'll second that.
Awesome. All in favor of John as our new president, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, congratulations.
I think. Okay, good. All right, now is the time to elect the new vice president, so I'll open it to any nominations.
I believe Tracy. Oh, thanks, guys.
Right.
I nominate Tracy Stacy as our vice president.
I'll second that. Very good. It's nominated in second for Tracy Stacy to be the elected vice president of the governing board. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, congratulations. And item 12B, the election of the clerk. I'll open up nominations for the clerk position.
If we're doing the rotation.
So I move to nominate Shelley
Thank you,
Dowling as
Tracy.
the clerk.
And I'll second that.
Moved in second for Mrs. Dally to be the clerk, election to the clerk. All in favor? Yes. Any opposed? Perfect. Hearing none. Item 12C, appointment of superintendent as secretary to the board. It's recommended the superintendent, Jane Shamiya, be appointed to the secretary of the governing board. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Okay, fight over it.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Yes. Any opposed? Hearing none. Perfect. Congratulations, Jane. Yay. And item 13, recognition of service for President Malberg. Jane, is that you? Or am I supposed to say something?
We're just.
Yes.
There we go.
Cherie Malberg for Governing Board President, 2018-2019.
Thank you, Ms. Malberg, for your service as president to the board. You've done a fabulous job. Thank you.
Yay. Ms. Dally?
Is it on?
Oh, hang on.
Hold on.
Hang on.
I just want to give you a special thank you because I know from having been the board president, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of caring, and you always make sure that people are taken care of. So thank you for doing such a good job this year. I really appreciate all you do.
Yeah.
Mr. Jansen, do you want to trade seats?
Sure, but thank you for your leadership this last year. Look forward to working with you. And tough pair of shoes to fill, but they do come in my size. I know, I checked. All right.
They look funny on you though.
No, don't be judgmental. All right. Who says I don't have them already? All right, we're going to recess from the main meeting into the, what's that?
Press the button. Oh, maybe yours is the only green one? Oh, you're good. You're not you, you're Cherise. That's why.
Oh, wait, hold on. I am Cherie. All right, is that better? There we go. Alter ego, Cherie. All right, here we go. Here we go. So we're going to recess out of the main meeting and go into the library board organizational meeting. And we have a quorum called to order and approval of the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda?
Yes.
For the library board.
Oh, the library.
Library,
Sorry.
library
So-
agenda.
So excited to change board. But I don't know why. No, there's no changes to the library agenda.
Gotcha.
Do you want me to say it in
All
the
right.
microphone? No changes to the library agenda.
Fantastic. All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make it. Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Move on. Approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the September 26th library board meeting? Motion. Do I have a second? Motion and second. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Perfect. Hearing none. Where am I? Make sure I'm on the right one here. Approval of the November 21st, 2019 special board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those? Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Sean is being a little rebel tonight. All perfect. Any comments from the floor? This would be 3 minutes. Anybody want to speak from the floor on items not on the agenda? Seeing none. We'll go to the elections of the officers. Election of the president. Do I have a nomination for the president?
Can we move a slate?
I'll nominate you for president.
Thank you. And second, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? No. Okay, hearing none. Perfect. Election of the secretary. And the secretary is typically the, help me here, the clerk.
I don't remember.
Or is it you? The clerk is typically the secretary of the library.
Okay, so
So I'll nominate Shelley.
I've been, perfect. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Perfect. Number 6, action items. Adoption of resolution number 1, 2019-2020, resolution of the Vacaville Library Board establishing quarterly meetings. It's requested that the board approve resolution number 1, establishing the library board meetings. It's a roll, do I have a motion? Fantastic. And a second?
I'll second.
Second. All right. And it's a roll call vote?
Mr. Silva, your vote, please?
Yes.
Mr. Kitsis? Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mrs. Mulber?
Yes.
Mrs. Stacy?
Yes.
Mr. Wyndham?
Yes.
And Mr. Jansen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Item 6B, it's requested the board approve the recommended library board meeting dates for 2020 as presented. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes. Number 7, Library Commission Report. Carol Sue, are you here? Hey, there you are.
Yep.
We'll report on the issues and items of interest of the library board. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a hard act to follow, Sierra Vista.
This is one of the toughest meetings,
I
but those
know.
kids are great, aren't they?
They are amazing and so well spoken. So no wonder our libraries are so well used. If all the schools have students like those,
maybe we need another library. Anyway, our libraries really are well used. Within a 2-month span, we have over 50,000 visitors between the two libraries in Vacaville, and we circulate over 50,000 items. And so it's very busy anytime you go in there. And with the rain, people have come even more to get out of the rain and to check books out and use the computers. I hope some of you went and saw the bats. That was what we talked about last time we were here, but the bats were amazing. Coming up for Christmas time or the holiday season, the Town Square Library has Santa Claus Conquers the Martians next Tuesday night. They have their movie night then, their classic movie night for the holidays. And they like to show science fiction and comedies, and they always get a great turnout. Also on December 19th, in conjunction with the Senior Center, they're having a holiday performance by the West Valley Chorus Barbershop Harmony. So that's amazing. Both libraries have STEM activities, arts and crafts. Sometimes I go and do an arts and craft event, and then even though they're sometimes geared for kids, I take them to my friends, and we have a fun time doing them also because we're all kind of kids at heart. There's reading times, reading to animals, reading to get help in tutoring, and they're just amazing, amazing places. We thank the Vacaville Reporter. If you saw, I think it was just yesterday, they had a front page article on one of the activities at the library. Friends of the library support us with their book sales and help with a lot of the activities that go on. And I'm just astounded every time I'm there to check out new books that they get the best quality books, brand new books. There's always exciting variety of books to read. And I love to see the young kids in there and the senior citizens there, the booths and the help they give veterans for veteran resources. And they're just amazing places. But again, we have students that are amazing here in Vacaville, so they deserve the quality of the libraries that we provide them. Any questions? Great. Oh, do you?
Hold on. Mr. Silva.
Hi, I was at a non-related meeting, and it came up through the city, and it came up with, I think, a staff member about parking tickets that parents were getting at the Town Square site because there's a 2-hour limit, and then for the different activities in there that sometimes take 2 hours with kids, like it made it difficult for them to go out. Is that true? Is that a problem, or do you know if that's anything we can do to help address that?
That would be something, yeah. Parking at Town Square Library is difficult because you have the senior center right there and you have all the businesses right there. That would be a question that Bonnie Katz would know more about. But yeah, that would need to be, maybe encourage them to park further away, give them a heads up when they sign up for events. But I know also a lot of the families walk to the events at Town Square, but they might be able to park closer down to Andrews Park and some of the parking there. But that's an issue. I can pass that along to Bonnie. She wasn't able to be here tonight. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Anybody else?
Thanks for everything you do.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
Go
you
support
very
your
much.
library.
All right. Number 8, Director's Report. Suzanne, there you go.
Good evening.
Welcome.
I'll pass that on to Bonnie too. I'm the assistant director at the library and standing in for Bonnie tonight, who couldn't be here. So I'll make note. I'll follow up on the parking ticket situation at Town Square and to see what's going on there. And so I just had a couple things to highlight that are kind of our system-wide endeavors. So in front of you or somewhere by you, I dropped off our kind of annual Promises Made, Promises Kept brochure, kind of like a library annual report. These are kind of our numbers, our figures, our accomplishments for the past fiscal year, ending in fiscal year 19. And just to highlight a few things, last year we started a musical instrument lending program. We piloted that out of our Cordelia branch and we're looking at rolling that out at additional branches. And that was part of a staff grant, innovation grant that we staff had an opportunity to present some ideas to administration, and we gave them money to develop those ideas. So this was one of those, and it's proven to be very popular. Additionally, we circulated another staff grant was awarded to circulate mobile Wi-Fi hotspots. So there's waiting lists on those, and we're exploring options to adding more to our collections. So you have that to read at your leisure. Couple system-wide type events or programs coming up. So January is our annual Promises Made, Promises Kept. So your Vacaville branches will be hosting some programs during the month. March is our annual Women's History event and month of celebration. This year, we have a featured event. In the past, we've done some bands and done some local programs at the branches. We'll continue to do local programs this month, but we have a kind of signature event. Amy Tan will be coming to do a moderated talk. And it will be hosted, the host site will be the Vacaville Performing Arts Theater next to the Cultural Center Library. And these are usually free tickets we give out to the community. I believe the theater seats about 500. We expect all those tickets to go. But we're excited about that, and that will be on Sunday, March 15th. So about January, February, we're going to start doing our promotions and ticket giveaways for that. Facility master plan, Bonnie may have spoken to you about that. I believe she did present kind of funding the portion for Vacaville. But we are having our kickoff meeting next week, and it's kind of a multi-part process where we're going to have assessments done of our existing facilities, examining and projecting for future growth and where service needs are, and kind of looking at how we can reutilize our existing spaces on how we provide services and programs in our branches. We're going to do a technology strategic plan as part of this, as well as a new website and a new logo and branding. So you all will be a part of that process and be updated on that. And kind of the last thing I wanted to kind of highlight was for next calendar year, 2020, the library is kind of doing a health literacy initiative, and it's called, our branding for that is Live Well with Your Library. So we do a lot to focus on health, and so we're kind of repackaging some of what we do and do a concentrated effort on some of the programs, additional programs that we'll provide and materials highlighting health. And so right now we circulate blood pressure kits, and we just received a grant to do memory kits. So library staff will be doing programs for people, generally elderly folks, kind of some interactive type of programs to help memory building and focus in those areas. So, and of course we partner with our county organizations and community organizations on hosting flu shot clinics, health fairs, and yoga classes for kids. So that's going to be this next calendar year, 2020. So I just wanted to highlight a few of those things that will be happening, and hopefully some of these kids will get involved. Yeah. And so I don't have any questions for me or any information you'd like me to share with Bonnie. Other than parking tickets.
Yeah. Seeing none, thank you, Suzanne.
Okay, thank you very much.
It. All right. And with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn the library meeting and move on to the Public Facilities Financing Corporation annual meeting. We have a quorum, and I'll call to order. We need to approve the agenda. Jane, any changes to that agenda? No changes, great. So we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Approval of the minutes. Recommended action that we approve the minutes from December 12th, 2018 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Passes. And election of officers. Recommended that the governing board officers be elected the offices designated by the bylaws for the term December 12th, 2019 through December 17th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Any opposed? Perfect. Hearing none. Election of Assistant Secretary for the Corporations. Requested that Jennifer Stahlheber be elected the Assistant Secretary for the Corporation. What's that? Oh,
I'll move it.
aye. Moved, second. All in favor?
Yes.
Would you like to speak?
You're ready for me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go.
Good evening,
I had my
board.
head down, I was ready, I was just making this thing happen, but all yours.
And here is our update of our Public Facilities Financing Corporation, which was established in 1990 so that we could issue some debt for capital improvements. We issued some debt, but to finance our certificates of participation, which we refunded. First, I'm going to go over our outstanding long-term debt, which is related to our general obligation bonds. We most recently had an issuance in January of 2019 of $45 million, and that was issuance C for our Measure A bonds. And you can see we don't have a payment due in 18-19 because we just issued those bonds. And when I come back a year from now, you'll see our debt service for those bonds. And this has actually gotten smaller. So you can see in the past, we had another line on there because we had refinanced some of that debt prior to the call date. And so those had kind of been outstanding until that call date. And those are now all completely retired. And we just have the one COP still outstanding. And that's our normal debt service payment. This is the fund that we are building up some sinking funds for those final years of payments. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that there's no comments from the floor. We skipped that section. I just want to make sure there's nothing out there. Perfect. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting and back into our regularly governed meeting. Going to item 15A, approval of the agenda. And once again, Jane, is there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I have two changes. The first one is item 24E, which is ratification of the VTA contract. I'd like to move that to right after 18, before 19. Yeah, I know 18, yeah, 19's after 18. Yes, right after comments. And the second change is item 24B. There's an attachment there, which is a resolution. And I'll bring it up again when the item comes on the agenda. But the resolution is about an early retirement program, and it says 15 years or more. We're going to change that to 10 years. I don't know if it's been changed on the resolution. Yeah, so we're going to change that. I'll bring it up again when we come to that item, just in case. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, great.
I'll move it as amended.
Moved. Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Perfect. Okay, back to item 16A. It's requested that the board approve the recommendations for the following student discipline cases. 01-1920 RA, 02-1920 RA, 03, 04, 05, and 06 of 1920 RA.
I'll move it.
I have moved in second. It's a roll call vote. We need you to have the ability to.
Okay, now I'm ready. Okay. Mr. Silva, your vote, please.
Yes.
Mr. Kitsis? Mrs. Dally?
Yes.
Mrs. Malberg?
Yes.
Ms. Stacy?
Yes.
Mr. Wyndham?
Yes.
And Mr. Jansen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. 17, public hearing. Public review of resolution number 12, 2019-2020, authorization to close the business checking public funds account. Do we have anybody presenting, or we're just moving forward?
Any questions? You can talk about it.
No?
No presentation.
Do we have any questions? Good? Okay. Do I have a motion? Oh, no, it's just a public review. Okay. And then, would anybody like to speak on that item? Are you sure? Okay, here, anybody? Hearing none, we'll move on to 17B. It's a public review of resolution number 13.
Were you coming?
Winning lotto numbers. All right. Resolution to establish a supplemental employee retirement plan. Anybody like to speak on the item? Hearing none. Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Comments from the floor. This is time, we have 3 minutes to speak on an item that is not on the agenda. Any speakers? Seeing none. 19, oh wait, we're going to do 24E now. Okay, so I got to find 24E, which is the ratification approval of the 2018-19, 19-20 contracts with the Vacaville Teachers Association. Its recommended action is to request the board approve the 2-year contract in agreement for the 2018 through 2020 between the district and VTA. Hello.
Hi.
Do I have a motion? Do I let motion and then let them speak? Teresa. There you go.
Well, we're coming tonight to ask you to ratify the agreement we reached with the Vacaville Teachers Association. We feel like it's a good deal for both sides, and it was a long process, but we're very happy with it.
And our membership ratified it as of Wednesday morning. Our vote closed Tuesday, so.
Very good. Okay.
I move it.
It's moved.
I'll second it.
I have a second. Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Passes. Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you, James, for
Yay.
moving the agenda item up.
Okay, nominations for the 2020 school, California School Boards Association delegate. Did I miss one? Oh.
Go back to 19.
All right. Okay, Jane's turn. Go ahead. Superintendent's comments, correspondence.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you. I would like to start with a congratulations and introduction to Callie Austin, our new child nutrition supervisor. Callie, okay, I didn't see you back there. Would you like to come up? I'm going to say a few words about you, then you can speak a little if you want. This is Callie Austin. After graduating from Vacaville High School, Callie Austin went on to pursue her bachelor's degree from the University of California, Davis in clinical nutrition. As a senior at UC Davis, she was awarded the Outstanding Senior Award for Clinical Nutrition. In her senior year as an undergraduate student, she also completed an internship with our child nutrition department and, this is the best part, well, not the best part, but, and was impressed by the remarkable improvement that has been made with the school lunches since she attended school in our district. After completing her bachelor's, she went on to complete her master's degree in public health nutrition at the University of Chester in England. Miss Austin is a hometown product who is set to add her knowledge, skills, and passion for feeding children nutrition-rich food to our district and the Child Nutrition Department. Welcome, Callie.
Thank you, Superintendent Shamia. I first want to say thank you to Juan Cordon for believing in me and hiring me for this position. Thank you to Superintendent Shamia as well and the board. I really appreciate the opportunity. Like she said, came out of Vacaville, Orchard, Jepson, Vaca High. Actually just graduated from Vaca High like 5 years ago, so it hasn't been too long since I've been gone. Yeah, but I'm so excited. Like she said as well, the food was not great when I was going to school, but it's amazing. It's gotten so much better, and I'm so excited to just keep going forward with it. And I'm very happy to be pursuing a field that I'm passionate about in the city that I grew up in. So thank you, everybody.
Callie, do you have family members here you'd like to introduce?
I don't. They're
Okay,
actually
okay.
more local.
Sorry.
So my mom works at the jewelry store downtown, Di Bartolo, and they're all having like an open house tonight. So they're actually there.
Okay.
But I do have some familiar faces. So Mr. Santa Padre was my principal at Vaca High. Mr. Fickus was my calculus and geometry teacher at Vaca High. Yeah, I think that's everybody that I had. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun going back to schools and seeing familiar faces. Yeah, it's been
isn't that
great.
great. Welcome. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, 1 second.
In line with that, I was actually at Di Bartolo this last week, and I met her mom. It just came up that I was with the school district, and your mom was so excited and so proud of you, and I see why. It was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I have a few more announcements. As you all know, we recently had a little competition with Buckingham Charter Magnet School Graphic Arts 2 class, teacher Nadja Fitchhorn. We actually tasked the class as a competition for each of them to create a banner, a recruitment banner, and possible other recruitment materials. We had 20 students, and administration, a group of us, picked 5 finalists who were brought here at the last board meeting. And thank you so much, board members, because the students were so nervous to present, and then you stayed late after the board meeting, very late, and it was a tough decision. So I just wanted to recognize all of you and thank you for the work for choosing the winner, which was incredibly hard because every presentation was amazing. So I want to officially announce that Logan Arcila, I think Arcia, I'm pronouncing it right, is the winner. That's the new banner we're going to use for recruitment. We might be looking at other promotional materials. And he's won an internship with the communications department. So we are very much looking forward to it. All the students who participated received a certificate and a letter of recognition. Many of them could use this for future jobs, and it was a great experience. So I really wanted to acknowledge all of you because it was very hard making a decision, and thank you. I recently went to a PK graduation, and thank you, Michael Silva, for joining me there. PK stands for Parent Institute for Quality Education. Payden has a program, as does Markham. Markham, I believe, is having their graduation tonight. Markham has a large group tonight, like 30 parents. There were 4 at this graduation. This is an amazing program that we haven't talked about for a while. I just wanted to talk it up and promote it a little bit because I call it AVID for parents. PK comes in and works with these parents and helps them in success with their students and getting their students college bound. So it was so awesome to be at the graduation. Unfortunately, the one for Markham we're unable to make that, but we're here. But I just wanted to appreciate Michael Silva. You gave a wonderful speech at that and recognize the program. Thank you. Okay, who's good at math? Brenda left. So I don't know if anybody can estimate how much all those numbers add up to.
A lot.
A lot. They add up to 50. Oh, you won the prize. Wow. $55,000.
More cake.
More cake. There's a cake in the back, right? VPEF and Genentech got together and gave to all of these schools grants specific to science. As you know, individual teachers have received grants through VPEF, but these were something that VPEF and Genentech got together to do and specifically focus on science. Representative from VPEF and representative from Genentech went out to every school, along with some of our administrators, and presented a check. And the best part is they got to go into the classrooms and actually do science with the students, observe them doing science, talking to them about science. So Ms. Polly from Genentech was actually able to see what we do in science, to see it live, as did many of our administrators.
Did he learn anything?
I know. I know. He's in that little chair. He learned a little bit. Anyway, we are really, truly grateful to Genentech and VPAF. And it was just a great day, I think, especially for the administrators and the representatives to get some hands-on science in there and see this money going to great use. So again, we recognize VPAF, and that's $55,000 for our schools towards science. And now I'd like to ask our communications director, Elaine Kong, to come up and share something else. Very exciting. Do you need the clicker?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, she knows his deal. Hello, board members. Good evening. Congratulations.
Thank you, I think.
So about a month ago, I came across this YouTube video of You Inspire Me, which is a YouTube series about teachers reading letters to students about how they inspire them every single day. And I was like, wait a second, we don't have that at our district. Let's do it. So I contacted all of the principals and they thought it was a great idea. And I just wanted to show you an example of what we've been doing for the past month. Oh.
Who is that one person that just makes me light up? And that person's you. You make me so happy. Every time I say your nickname, you're welcome, I just laugh. I tell Mr. Miller how much you look like Moana and how you're this strong girl. And even when things outside at home may not be the best, you come to school with a positive attitude and you have a smile that just lights up the room. You make people happy. You make me happy. You inspire me to even be a better woman so I can be a role model for you. I see you work hard, and even when you're struggling in class, you always stop and you're always willing to help everyone else before you. Always. I definitely knew you were it when you stayed after school, when someone in our class was upset. And you stayed after and you wrote them this long letter about how amazing they were. And you didn't even have to do that. I didn't even ask you to do it, and yet you did it. And I want you to know that she saw it at her conference. And that night she took it home and she told me the next day that she cried. And that she didn't realize how much of an impact you have on people. You do. You take care of your mom. You take care of your brother. But most of all, you make me a better person each and every day. And I just want to thank you for letting me be your teacher this year. I love you very much.
I do too.
So how you feeling?
Good.
Are you nervous? Did you expect this to happen?
No.
No. I wanted to keep it a surprise. I figured if I had told you ahead of time, it wouldn't be as raw. These are those emotions, and I tell you guys it's okay to have feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is that opportunity as your school mom. I get to have that moment where it's just me and you, because usually it's everyone else. I don't ever get to sit down and tell you how much I appreciate you and how you light up everything. Everyone is always so much happier when they're around you. So this is why I chose you. I love you so much.
Stop it. Do you have another one? Is that it?
Oh, I just wanted to share a few numbers about the videos. So we've been posting a video a day since the day before Thanksgiving. So we've had a lot of teachers and other staff members participate, and we're going to carry this throughout the New Year's. So on Facebook is where we're primarily posting these, and we've reached over 16,000 people in our Vacaville community. We've engaged more than 4,000 of them. There's been over 10,000 views on these videos. Over 105 comments and 79 shares to all of their friends on Facebook. So it's reaching a lot of our community members. And every time I go on my phone, I see like 15 notifications, and it's for these videos. So I think it's doing a lot of good for our community.
Excellent job. Thank you, Elaine.
Very good.
That concludes my report.
Fantastic. Board comments, correspondence. Ms. Stacy, hold on. There you go.
So I'm so glad that you showed that tonight because I have been looking forward to them every day, and it is so exciting and humbling and just makes me so proud because all those kids' lives were changed, like the amount of love and like real connection and how just amazing our teachers and students are. Thank you, like the coolest. And I just have to say that Callie, you just set the bar really high. You pulled off so much in 5 years. Like we have some amazing students, and you're just proof that like our kids are graduating and capable and doing amazing, wonderful things. So welcome home. That's awesome. And I just have to give a shout out, Superintendent Shmia and John Jansen, myself, Sean, and Michael Silva went down to the California School Boards Association conference. And we kind of divided and conquered and learned a lot of information. But our own fearless leaders, John was very gracious, stepped in for, we missed you, Sheree, but stepped in for Sheree. And they did the coolest breakout session of the whole conference. Yes, I'm biased, but we all went to a lot of sessions and there a lot of information. They took us on a cruise with lifesavers and a whole itinerary of activities and all of the people who were there. It was an onboarding, how not to go overboard when you're onboarding new board members. And so boards from across the state, superintendents, new board members came. There was a good turnout because they were in the back 9, so we didn't think anybody was going to show up to the to the breakout. And there was probably 30, 40 people there, and they all loved it. You guys, it was fantastic. I think we should. Oh, did they record it for you?
No.
Oh, well, you missed out. It was fantastic. So we had goodies. They were awesome. And then I just, with all the stuff going on this week and things that have come up, I just really want the community to know that I'm actually consistently. So I wasn't always a cheerleader of how well the district communicated with families, with community, but I'm super proud that I wholeheartedly and can safely say that from the top down, there's an open door policy. So whether you are super happy with us, super angry with us, if we've completely, screwed things up, we welcome communication from top down. And so there's been a lot of misinformation sometimes around town, but I just want you to know if you're angry with us, if you're concerned, if you hear something that kind of makes your head explode and you're not sure if it's true or not, ask. You can start with Jane. Jane will either answer your question or send you to where you need to go. But I just really want you to know that our administration team will always put student safety first, primary over everything, that our student stuff is confidential, so sometimes you can't always get all the information you want to know, but if you want to know why we do things or how we do things, just reach out, because it's really important that the community know that this board is very down to earth and willing to talk about just about anything. And if you have a question, we'll get you answers. So thank you.
All right, Mr. Silva.
Yeah, thank you. So first, thank you for the invite to PK. There were 4 families that were able to successfully complete that 6-week program, and I think Markham was around 36 or so. I couldn't be there. I wanted to speak to the parents at Markham, mainly because I think that my story kind of is one generation in front of what those parents are trying to achieve coming to this country, and I couldn't be more prouder of my son, or my representative, who stepped up and actually shared part of our family story and the sacrifices that both my parents made to ensure that I had a quality education that changed the fate and broke the cycle of poverty that my parents grew up in, that I did not necessarily have to grow up in at all. And that's what those parents represent, and that's what those parents are sacrificing to ensure that they figure out how to manage this often complex system on how to break that cycle, so that way their future generations can take the advantage, so to speak. Shouldn't say that word, advantage, in today's political climate, but that they basically pursue opportunities that exist here in this country that they may not otherwise know. So the other thing I wanted to just really update our board on from the California School Board Association. So I was appointed as a delegate assembly member, and so I attended the second meeting, still gaining my bearings. So there was three things that I wanted to share with the board. Two of them kind of go together. But so last year, before I was on the board, we supported a resolution along with many other boards across the state for full and fair funding. Basically, the numbers have improved since. More funding, a small amount of funding has been allocated to public education. However, it's still insufficient. California, being the 5th largest economy, is still, our public education system is still funded 40th in the nation, even with those one-time monies being quote unquote invested into our public ed. So it's still not sufficient. What full and fair funding's goal is within a couple of years to bring us in to be funded within 25% of the nation within existing tax system. And then several years down the road that we would be within the top 5%. So I think that was something that was really, no matter where people stood, it was really holding the state more accountable on how they allocated the funds that they already currently have. However, the board of directors of CSBA, based on several pieces of data, including polling, including the reality of the situation of how much it would cost to actually get that measure on the ballot, they decided to postpone putting it on the 2020 ballot. So now their target date is 2022, 2024. It looked from the delegates that they were a majority from just pulsing the room. Majority of people were extremely upset with that. But in the end, what it came down to again was those two main things, that they didn't see that they had enough money to successfully get on the ballot for 2020, and on top of that, when it was paired up with schools and community first, both the polls show that both of those would fail. So the concern of putting all the money into getting that to pass alongside schools and communities first, they decided that it would be best to postpone full and fair funding to the 2022 or 2024. So I'm reporting back on that. So the other thing was there was a lot of, this is an interesting talk, and it leads me to my next point, but the role that school districts should have at the state level through CSBA on ways within their capacity to address climate change. Again, a lot of insight, and I didn't speak out on my personal behalf, mainly because I don't know enough. I mean, I know where I'm at with it, but as a representative of the board, I didn't really feel it was appropriate for me to speak on behalf of the board. So just to finish that point, so rather than change language within CSBA, they're going to initiate a task force. So different members can participate on the task force and then recommend to the CSBA how ways that they may or may not be able to, that school boards can address climate change. And maybe that's electric buses they were suggesting and other methods. Anyway, so there's more to come on that. But I think moving forward with our role, with our membership within CSBA, I think, when I'm sitting there clicking the little clicker to vote, on different candidates and whatnot, I feel that I'd like to have more input, or whoever that role is, whoever that delegate member is, have more input on how to best represent our board in those situations. So that when we're casting a vote, we're casting on behalf of the board rather than more so the opinion of that delegate. So I'm not sure how to work that into the agenda or workshops or whatnot with respect to Brown Act, but I just throw it out there for you guys to consider. So switching subjects, can't thank VPEF. I was on that board for 2 years. It's very difficult to get a lot of feedback in order to help stimulate more growth. So I can't thank Nolan Sullivan that's really championed that. I know even trying to get money for the STEM projects, that's been difficult. Again, based on my experience on there. And I know that, they've been even making strides on making sure that our homeless youth, our homeless teenagers, having a place to stay in a safe environment, trying to navigate that. That's been, it's pretty cool. It takes, a lot of special people, a lot of them that volunteer their time just to make sure that our community's needs are met and our students' needs are met. So Yeah, thank you.
All right. Sean?
Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying I'm just speaking for myself. So just in case there's any hate mail comes, you can address it to me. So, no, I just want to kind of clarify, and I think Mrs. Stacy was kind of maybe alluding to this, but there was, at a recent city council meeting, some things were discussed in reference to some concerns about the district. And I don't know that the comment was intended the way that it was, that I perceived it, but I think there were some innuendos, if not direct comments, about maybe that the district isn't taking an active enough role with regard to diversity and really making sure that people feel welcome and that students feel welcome regardless of their backgrounds or their preferences. And I just really have to comment on that because I don't think anything could be further from the truth. I mean, having gone in our classrooms, having seen our staff in action, I think it's the complete opposite of that. I think everybody in our district does the best that they can. I mean, there's no perfect system. There's no perfect people. Mistakes are going to happen. Things are going to happen on campus. Kids are going to make bad decisions from time to time. You can't avoid those things, right? But generally speaking, I think our staff goes to the extreme to make sure that everybody feels welcome and that they feel safe. I mean, you don't always have the luxury of seeing everything that our folks do behind the scenes, but believe me when I say that the amount of work that happens behind the scenes is tenfold what you see at the back end. And so I really can't, I feel like I can't let that go unaddressed. And I think I would just kind of conclude my comments by saying this, that whether you're an elected leader, whether you're an organizational leader, whether you're an appointed leader, I think you have a responsibility, all of us have a responsibility to really take the opportunity to work together collaboratively and as a team. We all have different roles in the community. There's different leaders in this community that have different roles, but we're all working toward the same goal, and that is to make this community the best that we can. And I think that that's happening. I mean, you see an increase in enrollment in the district, which you don't see in other districts. So I think that means that people want to be here and they want their students to attend school here. But at the end of the day, as elected leaders, we have a choice, right? We can either be divisive and make comments that sort of can drive wedges, and we can grandstand on certain issues, or we can do what I think we're elected to do and what our job really is, and that is to really work together across the board, whether we're on one governing body or the next, to make this community everything that it can be. And I think without that, I think we're not doing our jobs. And I just want to kind of give a shout out to all of my fellow board members, because I think that happens here. We don't all agree, and you know what? We're not necessarily supposed to, because we're the community representation to the district. And you know what? Not everybody in the community believes the same way. But at the end of the day, our goal, all of us, is to do the best we can for our kids. That's it. And so I just want to thank all the other board members for all the work they do. I want to thank our staff for all the work that they do. And I really think the person that maybe said this probably didn't realize what his comment might have, how it might have been construed, because he's someone I think probably knows better, given his background. So I just want to really put that out there, that I really think that our staff does a great job, and I don't want any of our staff or anybody in the community thinking that there's not a ton of work and a lot of thought given to making sure that we have an environment that is safe and welcoming for all students. So thank you.
Well said. Anybody else? Yeah. Very good. Well, I have one comment, and then we'll close out. Something amazing happened 29 years ago today, and what that was. Only 29 was simply Miss Jane's birthday. So because you don't want it, they will sing with me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jane. Happy birthday to you. Yay. No, you don't get to speak. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you're right. I'm 29. And I've been in education like probably 35 years, so isn't that amazing? I was a little pouty today, but I'm a grown woman, right? Board meeting on my birthday, but I'm glad I'm here. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, great. Student Board Representative, Ms. Galvin, we'll start with you at Buckingham, please.
It always takes a minute to warm up.
We look at the mirror and
You look over
they're
it.
supposed to run out.
Up here, here.
Yeah. Oh, there they come.
You were timing it. Did you not hear us?
Test.
There we go.
So this week was our Winter Spirit Week, and on Monday we had Merry Morning Monday, so we dressed up in our pajamas. And Tuesday was Tacky Sweater Tuesday, so we wore our ugly sweaters. Wednesday was Winter Wonderland, so the students dressed up in whites, blues, and grays. And today was Thermal Thursday, so the students dressed up in warm and cozy outfits. And tomorrow is Festive Film Friday, so the students are going to dress up as characters from their favorite holiday film to wrap up the Spirit Week. Tomorrow we will also be having our talent show as well as karaoke in our gym from 5:30 to 8:30, and it's $7 at the door. Santograms have been selling all week and will continue to be sold tomorrow after school and Monday during lunch. Winter Ball tickets are also on sale right now and will be sold until January 17th. Next week, the tickets will be sold for $45. The week of January 6th through the 10th, the prices will go up to $55. And the week of January 13th through the 17th, they will be sold for $65. Congratulations to our girls soccer team for winning second place in the Sierra High School tournament in Manteca, as well as winning their first game against Highlands on Tuesday. Also, congratulations to the boys soccer team for winning their first game last Friday, and the JV boys basketball team for winning their game last night. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Good evening, school board. Last Wednesday, Wilsey Wood Orchestra had their Festival of Trees performance, and tonight is actually their winter concert and bake sale at the Catwalk Theater. Tomorrow will be their last winter concert with the band as well at 6:30 at the Catwalk Theater. I would like to congratulate Wilsey Wood's drum major, Michael Ruiz, for winning 4th place at the Tournament of Champions in Fairfield last weekend for drum major military. This past weekend, our Wilsey Wood Sylvan Singers and Tins had their 23rd annual Magical Dinner performances to welcome the holiday season. And this past week, we had the finals for our intramural dodgeball tournament. Congratulations to this year's champions, the Fortnights. Our Christmas Wish project was a success. We raised gifts for over 100 children in the community. And Holiday Spirit Week begun this week. Monday was holiday morning day, so everybody dressed in their PJs. Tuesday was gift day to wear a bow or give gifts to your friends. Wednesday was Winter Wonderland, and so everybody dressed in snow gear and scarves and boots. Today was Holiday Hat Day, and tomorrow's Ugly Holiday Sweater Day. Cramfest also began this week. Cramfest provides cocoa and teacher support to help our students study and succeed on their finals. I would also like to congratulate our Teachers of the Week, Ms. Homich and Mr. Reeves. Service Learning Leadership is currently selling candy cane grams for $2 as a fun way for students to brighten someone's holiday season, especially going into finals week. Congrats to our girls soccer team who won Thursday's away game against Sheldon of Sacramento by a score of 3-1. And congrats to our boys soccer team for Monday's win against Delta High. Congrats to Wilsey Woods wrestling team for their victories against Rodriguez and Vanden. And finally, congratulations to our Wilsey Wood cheerleaders who performed in this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. Lastly, our girls soccer team is having a study break at Chipotle on Monday, December 16th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And so if you bring in the flyer or show it on your smartphone or just tell the cashier you're supporting Wood Girls Soccer, they can make 33% of the proceeds. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you to both of you, and good luck with finals next week. Yeah, great. Bargaining unit representative reports. Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on to staff reports. Assistant Superintendent Ed Santapadre will provide an update on the local control accountability plan. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening. Good evening, President Jansen, board members, Superintendent Shamiya. Happy birthday. So tonight I'm going to give a quick update on the LCAP, Local Control Accountability Plan. There we go. And this is a great time where we're just finishing up the 3-year cycle of the LCAP and preparing for the next 3 years. So it's a really good time to take a look at some of our successes and challenges and how we're going to move forward into the next cycle. These are the things we're going to talk about. Of course, we like to do the LCAP on the same night that the budget presentations are happening because those are really connected. We're going to take a quick look at the new dashboard that's just been released today. Progress on the 3-year goals and our process for going forward with the next LCAP. So this is the cycle that we do yearly. You adopt the LCAP, we bring the outcomes to you, the ones that we have more of them tonight, and then progress on goals. And again, attached to your document is another document that we're not going to go through tonight, but if you have any questions as you look through it, this is all of the metrics that were in our last LCAP. So there's a lot of it, and so if you have questions or comments about it, please let me know. And then we continue on with our progress on our goals. So this is, when you go to the webpage, this is what the dashboard front page looks like, and you can type in any school or county or city and you can find what you're looking for. One of the first things you'll see is a little bit about the school or the district. This is our district, and you'll see the 11,000, which does not include our charters because they have their own LCAP, and so they have their own dashboard results. Almost 44% of our students last year were socioeconomically disadvantaged, 7% English learners. And this is our current dashboard. And again, this is for the whole district. Earlier you saw Sierra Vistas, and each school has them. Really great to look through. It's just, you can really go into a lot of details about this. We'll talk about some of our successes and challenges. Really, good news when you see green on a district dashboard. So chronic absenteeism and English language arts continues to grow. The two oranges, they're really different stories. The college and career, really we think is a one-time blip. What happened is our English scores at the 11th grade have been consistently high for years. And 2 years ago, all 3 schools dropped. Wood, Vaca High, and Buckingham, all scores dropped somewhat significantly. And so that affected this dashboard because it was last year's seniors. We were a little worried about it until the next year, which was last year, and the scores went back up. So we really think this is going to be a one-year thing. The math is more of a concern because that's a real orange, and we're continuing to work really, really hard on that and looking at some of the data. So some of our successes, and I'll talk specifically about each of these. So our college access, really, really strong success. Over the 3 years, that first one is the number of seniors who in their high school career passed at least one AP test. And you'll see it went from 169 students to 218 with last year's graduating class. The second one was last year's scores, or a one-year score. How many individual students passed an AP test during that year? And again, went up considerably from 340 to 401. Total number of tests passed, which we love to see growing. And then our A through G, which is a 3-year look, but if you really look, that's a 10-year growth of our A through G results, continue to just steadily climb at all of our schools. Our CAS performance at all levels, elementary, middle, and high school, grew over the 3-year period, as did the CASP results for our individual student groups, our English learners, our students with disabilities, our socioeconomically disadvantaged students, and we increased significantly the reclassified students over the 3-year period. Our CTE completers, and that's our CTE completers. The state says we have about 190 CTE completers, but this is our more rigorous criteria, and so we really see that growing. We didn't have it 3 years ago, so we just had 2 years of data, and we see that continuing to grow. And our chronic absenteeism rate continues to drop, which is really good because if a student misses more than 10% of school, we know that there's other troubles that happen. So our struggles. So we see math as a struggle, and our scores are virtually flat over the 3-year period. And we are continuing to work on that, and we're going to break that code. And we had a slight dip in our graduation rate. And if you go back 2 weeks and look at the plan that we had approved 2 weeks ago, I think that really is going to address this, both at the comprehensive schools with the supports that we're putting in place and the merger of Kimmy and Country High. So we're excited that we did all of that work before we even saw these results, and we just knew that we had to do this. So as we go forward to the next 3-year, we really want to have a great mission statement or statement of purpose that really resonates with all of our stakeholders. I'm going to skip the second one because I'm going to spend a little more time on that. We have our LCAP goals, actions, and services that we're starting to put together and get feedback on, and some real specific areas of focus for the first year of the LCAP. But the graduate profile or portrait of a graduate, we're starting to go and get data on this, and it's been a lot of fun. Just this morning, I was at a subcommittee meeting of the Economic Development Committee for the city, and we took them through this exercise of looking at future-ready skills and saying, okay, and we gave each person 3 stickies and said, you get 3 votes. What are the 3 most important things that you want to see in your workers, in your community members, in your neighbors, in your children? And boy, there were some really good arguments, and they kept going, why do I only get 3? And say, because we want to focus on it. So the discussions were great. You'll see the areas that we're looking at: adaptability, civic and cultural awareness, collaboration, communication, service learning, creativity and innovation, critical thinking, digital citizenship, empathy and kindness, resilience, self-directed, and work ethic. And so what we're doing with staffs, with parent groups, with community groups, we're going to do it with you, and ultimately we're going to ask you to approve our portrait of a graduate that says every one of our graduates, when they walk across the stage, they're going to have these skills. Whatever our community decides are these skills that we need. And we're going to shoot for having 4 of them, and then letting each school maybe have a signature 5th one that really is specific to that school. So we're working on that. We've, again, about 5 or 6 of the staffs have already gone through this process. Our leadership team has gone through it, and so we're gonna bring that back to you. It's been a lot of fun, and it really is looking at our future skills. So we're going to do that. We're going to get some more meaningful input into our goals, actions, and services, and a real focus for the first year, so we kick off the next 3-year LCAP really with a real strong base. Questions?
Oh, hold on there. All right. Sri.
Okay. Hey, do the math scores, how do they correlate with the implementation of Common Core as far as the dates? How long ago did we do that?
That was this whole 3-year cycle was Common Core. So, and it stayed really flat through that. But yeah, so it was before that we really did the training and starting to implement.
Good deal. Thanks.
But we're
working on it.
We are working on it.
Mr. Silva?
Thanks, Ed. With the merger, how do we expect the students that go from the AG track to the career track, do we expect their scores to change whatsoever as far as meeting or exceeding standards for math and ELA?
We do, and again, what we look at is really sort of from distance from standard. That's how the state measures it. So how close we are to standard, and we do expect that their scores are going to continue to grow because again, these are students who are struggling and maybe not coming as much. So we think if we can get them here, even if it's more on the career path, that they're still going to grow as well. And again, not even so much for the CASP test, but the graduation rate is the biggest benefit to that change.
So, but for CASP, so when they're on their career focused track, is is in the new system, is there any interventions in there to help improve their CAS scores?
So in the math that they'll be doing that's related to career, we're going to connect some of that back. But the reality, especially in math, if the students don't get to integrated 3 math by the time they take that test, it's really tricky. And so, so I don't know that that'll have a huge impact in math. Certainly, some of the interventions that we'll do before that, before they, so the integrated 1 and 2, hopefully they'll be better at. But if really they don't get to integrated 3, that CASP test is really strong on that.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Sean.
Hey, Ed, so since Mrs. Ballberg stole part of my question, I'm going to kind of give you a follow, and I don't know if you can answer this, but because it is related to math and Common Core. I mean, is it, number one, it's fair to say that our math scores and performance is fairly consistent statewide,
Yes.
right? So it's not just us.
It
that
is
are
not
struggling.
just us.
Is it also kind of fair to say that since the implementation of Common Core, there's been a little bit of a dip in math scores? I know it's a different system.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's because what's being asked of our students is much more rigorous. And when you look at the future ready skills, I think that's where we're moving in math is to get students. It's not a computation issue. It's really a reading and understanding and applying and taking a set of facts and how you apply it. And in the CASP test, it's really a lot of explanation of why you did things. So it's a writing exercise as well. So it is much more rigorous than the old STAR test.
So it's not just purely about math skills. A student can be good at math and under Common
Right.
Core could actually be struggling more.
They could, and what's being asked of them.
Okay, and then last question, just to put the dashboard in context, and I think you and I have talked about this before, but so essentially if a school remains, I don't want to say stagnant, but they're performing well, but they remain consistent with that, over time, that can actually decrease their score on the dashboard, right? Because they're not moving the needle forward.
Right.
Even if they're doing well.
Their color, but if they're doing really well and just holding steady, so like a couple of our schools, their graduation rate ticked down a little, but it was so high it still stayed in the blue or the green. But if you're just sort of solid and not improving, that starts moving the needle back.
Okay, thank you.
On the other hand, if a school, one of our lower income schools has had some struggles with this and they start improving, that also moves the needle up as well, which is a way better to look at it than the way the STAR test did, which was sort of you have to be here or it doesn't count.
Great. Shelley?
Thanks. Do I have to do something? No. Okay. A little tired. I'm not sure when this happens in the process. At what point do we really evaluate where we've put our money and what's made the effects that have happened and what we need to change as we move forward?
Right. That's part of what we're starting tonight. So if you see in that sheet I gave you, if you see green, that means we've had some success in that area, and then we have to decide, is that an area we care that we've had success? And if we see red, we see that it hasn't gone as well. So this is the start of that, and as we start looking at our goals and actions and services, that evaluation has to happen. What have we put our resources toward, and what has it done for us, and how do we do it?
Okay, and so at one point, did we also say that the RTI teachers were going to support math also, or has that not happened?
They are just starting to support math.
Okay.
They really have been focused on reading and
which is showing.
And the results are positive there. But they are now moving toward math.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I just wanted to add what Ed said about the process because, we're starting the 3-year cycle. He's doing a lot of stakeholder work. We're hoping to plan 1, maybe 2 board workshops between January and June, like we did a few years ago, to really go through the stakeholder feedback and the priorities we set, and that's when we drill down to where we want to go as a board. And I think 3 years ago, we spent a lot of time on that. That's when we kind of increased the mental health services. So that will probably be sometime in the spring.
Because this is the right time. We can change the goals, we can change our focus, we can say that's really worked or that hasn't.
Anything else? Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. 23B Facilities Update, Mr. Banowitz. Thanks, guys. Good luck next week. Yeah.
Good evening, Board President Jansen and Superintendent Shamiya. Last week, a couple weeks ago, Superintendent Shamiya and I decided, we were talking about me coming up here for meetings for the foreseeable future and just giving you quick updates about facilities and what we're doing around the district. So I'm going to give you a quick update. Right now at Sierra Vista, we are on construction for increment 3, and that is the conversion of the old multi-purpose room into the library and the makerspace, and then also reconfiguring the old library and the front office. And it's going well, but we're having some challenges. One of them was that in the existing MP room, in the makerspace area, the reason why it's not done right now is when we were working on some of on the wall situation, we're digging underneath the cement slab. The drawings from 1960s showed a footing that was not there. So DSA says you have to put that in. So we are working on that. And in addition, when we started working on the other side, when we started taking off some of the drywall that was going into the breezeways from both sides, there's these wooden headers over each one, and they're both split all the way across. So those are some of the challenges that we're facing right now. You will be seeing a change order for that cement work underneath. That's because it's the cost of it was such a small project, our allowances were pretty small. But it's not anything that we can't handle. We're still on budget. We still will be able to cover this. We're going to be fine. It's taken us a little longer to get this done because every time we run into these things, we have to go through DSA, the Division of State Architect, and get everything approved that we're doing. So I've asked them to stop uncovering stuff out there. make life easier. Over at Zeno Stadium, with this weather, we anticipated doing a project in the winter that we were going to come up against this. The contractor, O.C. Jones and Sons, did a great job of getting all the lime treatment done before the rains hit. So these rains, they are delaying us a few days. When it's actively raining, there's not much they can do, but it dries out quickly since we've got that lime treatment done, and they can get back to work really quick. So we've only lost a few days with all this rain, which is also built into the schedule. So we're still on track for a early to mid-May completion. Markham, we are finishing up the first 13 modular classrooms, and we have a move-in date set for the end of January, so we're a couple weeks ahead of schedule on that piece. If you drive by, you'll see that the multi-purpose room, the slab and the foundation is done, and the actual metal columns, support columns, are up, so the building is starting to move up in the air. So it's exciting to see from the road. We ran into a little bit of a snag yesterday with phase 3. The estimates came in for that scope of work over budget. But it's not anything that's a concern because it happens all the time. We will now, the beauty of the leaseback is we will be with the contractor and the design team and the program team and value engineer like we usually do and get that back in line. So it's just the first round of estimates, but it did come in high. We have some work to do on that one. Some of the other items around, you might have heard Lynn Benvenita's office at Browns Valley had a little issue with water over the Thanksgiving break. We have the guys have been working on getting that back together. The solution wasn't the roof; it was actually a drain pipe that's in the wall that clogged and caused the damage. The water accumulated from in between the roof and the drop ceiling, and it dropped the ceiling. So, and it really there was a lot of water in that front office. The guys are out there been working on it every day. We're going to be painting it next week, painting the walls next week. That we have, all new walls and everything next week. And then as soon as the carpet gets in, hopefully it'll be next week, we'll carpet her office. And then over the spring break, we're going to work on recarpeting the rest of the office. We just can't get that much carpet in next week in order to do the office during winter break like we tried. But we're going to be shampooing and extracting all those carpets over the break as well. So we're working on that. The new phone systems, we have 3 sites left that haven't been done. Willsey Wood, Vaca High, and Country High locations. Those are the big ones, and it takes a lot of coordination with IT to get those big networks in. We're at this point, we're evaluating all the lines that we have out there because we pay around $60 a month per line, and we're going to be able to eliminate hundreds of lines and see a good savings from that. 343 Brown Street, at the Golden Hills, Vacaville. We are finishing up putting the basketball courts in outside. We're just doing site work now. The shade structures are up, and we're working on closing that out. The last piece of that is to get transportation back in their building. We have some new carpeting coming in since it's empty. We're doing that, so they're hopefully by the end of December, after the break, they'll be back in their building again. I've been conducting site committee meetings. From the last board meeting, we talked about the measure rate and evaluation of phases. So far, I've met with Orchard, Vaca Peña, Vaca High, and Browns Valley. Tomorrow morning, I'm meeting with Payton. So we're starting that process to evaluate that. And we're also starting up next week the meetings with the design firms for all the projects coming up, the Buckingham and Country High projects, ACE, what we're looking at for kindergarten and a lot of other projects. So we're starting to kick those meetings off to see what we can do with those. Any questions?
Seeing none. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
All right, on to number 24, action items. It's requested that the board approve resolution number 12, 2019-2020, authorization to close the business checking public funds account as presented. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Oh, roll call vote. Sorry. Oh, sorry, Teresa.
Mr. Silva, your vote, please. Yes. Mr. Kitsis? Mrs. Dally?
Yes.
Mrs. Stacy?
Yes.
Mrs. Malberg, sorry. Mrs. Stacy, sorry. Mr. Wyndham?
Yes.
Mr. Jansen?
Yes. All right, 24B. Yes.
Quick comment on that. So when we do that, if people are watching, they can't hear how we vote. And I just think we need to look at that again. That's a problem. So on a roll call, they don't know how we vote, and we have no voting board. So it's kind of a mystery. And I think we have to address that.
So in January board meeting, we're going to have a board discussion about the new system. We could talk about it then. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Good point. Thank you. 24B, it's requested that the board approve resolution number 13, 2019-2020, resolution to establish a supplemental employee retirement plan as presented. Do you have a motion? And a second? Did you have a comment? Can we have that discussion tomorrow?
I just want to remind you when the resolution says on it, employee must have at least 15 years. I want the 15 changed to 10 years. So that's what you'd be approving. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, we'll start with, oh, go ahead.
Sean, hold on.
There we go. Thank you. Now, I just have a question. So could you just maybe, somebody talk just a little bit about, there's a cost savings, I mean, to the district. I mean, there's a reason why several reasons why we're doing it, but if
Jennifer?
I don't need numbers, I'm just,
Oh, okay.
the purpose behind it, why we're offering it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, the
It's-
purpose behind it? Chris or Jennifer can talk about the purpose.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the
That's okay.
spot. I just want to make sure we're all clear on why we're.
No, that's a good question.
Yeah, we looked at it when we had a cabinet workshop talking about the deficit that we had seen at the end of last year when we were doing our projections. And so we thought it might be a cost-saving measure that wouldn't really affect classrooms because we would refill the positions for anyone who took advantage of the CERP offer. The original estimates that came in for certificated estimated just over $3 million in savings over 5 years if we get the numbers and the participants that the study reflected.
Very good.
Yeah, we're only gonna do it this year. It's only available once, because it doesn't pay off the second year.
We would be making payments over 5 years and then realizing the savings.
Yeah, no, it's one-time deal.
Okay, anybody else?
Thank
All right. We're missing Mr. Kitsis. Do we need to wait for his
Do you want to wait
his
a minute?
vote? What's that?
Do you want to wait for him? Or I can take the vote.
It's a
and
roll
then-
call vote. We're
Yeah.
okay? All right.
Okay.
All
Miss-
yours.
Okay, Mr. Wyndham.
Yes.
Mrs. Stacy?
Yes.
Mrs. Malberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Dally?
Yes.
And I'm waiting. Mr. Kitsis? Yes. Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Jansen?
Yes.
And for the purpose of people at home that can't hear us, the vote was unanimous, 7-0.
Good. 24C, it's requested the board approve resolution number 14, 2019-2020. It's authorizing addendum number 4 of facilities lease with Landmark Construction to authorize phase 2 purchase and installation of food service equipment in the increased amount of $303,594 for the Markham Elementary School Improvement Project.
Second.
Of a motion and a second, and
Okay.
roll call vote.
Okay, Mr. Wyndham, we'll start with you again.
Yes.
Mrs. Stacy?
Yes.
Mrs. Mulberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Dally?
Yes.
Mr. Kitsis? Mr. Silva? Mr. Jansen?
Yes.
And that's unanimous, 7-0.
Okay, number 24D, the approval of the 2019-2020 first interim report. Jennifer, again.
Okay, so right now we're gonna go over first interim, and we bring this to you at the same time every year. Oops, this isn't advancing me very well. Okay, there we go. So here's a summary of our revenues. Overall, our revenues increased 5.1 million. And you can see we received 1.13 increase in our local control funding formula, and that was based on our projected increase in enrollment. So when we did our CBEDs, we had increased by 187 students, and when we use our average daily attendance factor, it increased our revenues at 1.13. Our federal revenues saw an increase of 600,000, and most of that is related to carryover from federal programs, which we're not allowed to have fund balance. So we book that as unearned revenue when we close one year, and then we bring it in as new revenue in that next year, even though it's a prior year's allocation. We also had some adjustments to some of our federal programs. Our state revenues increased 2.7 million, and that was, a big chunk of that was related to some one-time dollars when we budgeted this. Since then, we've received some more information that we will see those funds in the future, but we're not sure in what form. So they won't necessarily be unrestricted as they came in this year. And those were those funds we discussed that were for preschool students with disabilities. The intent of the legislature was that we would use them for intervention services, but they are unrestricted in this year. The governor wrote in language, though, that to make them ongoing, he wanted some additional restrictions on the funds. So most likely we're going to see a new categorical or some new resource for those funds. We also saw an increase in our AB 602, which are our state special education funds. And those will be ongoing, but we don't really know what the amount will be for sure next year. We're estimating it because the governor also wants to see a new methodology for the allocation of those funds. We are one of the lowest funded SELPAs, so we believe that we might actually even see more funds ongoing. So I did prepare, because we had first interim done prior to having that information, I did add in an extra slide with a new scenario for the MYP, just kind of updating some of that. Our local revenue, we saw an increase of 628. A lot of that was carryover. We carry over site funds, the donation funds, the textbook funds, and then we also had some adjustments in our interest earnings, which falls in the local category. They've had some really good returns on treasury funds. And then our transfers, we saw a slight increase. That was due to a booking error. The county booked interest earnings in a fund that was closed out when ACE was its own charter, and so we have to move that in. And typically you wouldn't see any activity in that line. This shows you, they're there, the numbers are there, the makeup of the revenues that we received. So our largest portion of revenue comes from our local control funding formula, and that's comprised of our property taxes,
the Education Protection Act funds, which were passed through Prop 30 and then extended through Prop 50, 55, and state aid, which makes up the difference. Our second largest portion comes in our state revenue. Part of that is because of those additional dollars, and so those are going to hopefully be ongoing in some form. This is a look at our expenditures. Our expenditures increased significantly more than our revenues. They increased by $9 million. A lot of that has to do with those one-time revenues that we just talked about. It also has to do with our carryover. And then I have budgeted, Kelly has budgeted the VTA settlement as well as SEIU and the other non-represented units. That equates to approximately, I made a note, 3.568 in ongoing increases of that 9. We did also see some increases in some other categories. So the ones, the certificated classified and benefits are related to the salary adjustments. Our books and supplies were carryover, and we also had some textbook adoptions. If you recall, we budgeted just over 1.1 million for a science adoption, ELA, and NWEA adoption. When we closed the books and I brought the unaudited actuals, we had those as assignments. Since then, they've been budgeted and we've already purchased the materials. We also budgeted some funds for our white fleet replacement. You'll see that in our capital outlay category, and that's at 162. And between the books and supplies and capital outlays of services and operating. Some of those are carryover as well, but there's about 1.5 million that's attributable to special ed services. We lost 3 additional speech and language pathologists, and so we had to increase the FTE that we're contracting outside. And we pay significantly more when we have to hire a contractor. We average about $143,000 per contractor versus what we would pay in salary and benefits if we were able to hire them. Our capital outlay, I discussed that, that's white fleet mainly. And then our tuition and indirect, that's mostly due to indirect that's charged to federal programs, and because we increased that, you see some increase in that category. Any questions? Okay, and this shows you how those break out. 82.29 makes up our salary and benefits. If you were to back out the carryover, the $3 million that typically falls out, salary benefits would make up 84.5. And then if you also backed out the one-time funds, salary and benefits would be about 85.5% of our budget, which is where we track typically, and also where unified school districts throughout the state track. So we're very typical for a school district of our size. This is a look at the summary. So you can see since adopted, we closed the books. So our beginning fund balance is higher than what we had projected when we originally created adopted, and that's because we hadn't closed the books and we didn't have those carryover funds drop down. So we increased significantly from 17.6 to 22.8, but we also increased that projected deficit. Now, if we have our typical carryover fallout, about 3 million, that deficit will decrease to 3.4. And then one thing to remember is with that remaining 3.4 deficit, we have over 1.5 million of that is in one-time expenditures. Also in these projections, when we get to the MYP, you're gonna see that original one, we did not have those ongoing funds budgeted, so I'm gonna show you another scenario. But we do project a 12.19, which is pretty close to what we had it adopted. These are our planning factors. So our cost of living adjustment, the COLA, is provided by Department of Finance. And when we prepared first interim, we used the COLAs that were in our FCMAT calculator, which is how we calculate our local control funding formula revenues. Since then, we found out that the Legislative Analyst's Office is projecting a smaller COLA for 2021. So you can see I added an asterisk there. The decrease down to 1.79% from the 3% equates to a loss of revenue of approximately 1.3 million. So when I show you that additional scenario, I've also made an adjustment for that. Our STRS and PERS rates, you see those going up. Because STRS is statutorily defined, you see that it kind of has a small decrease in 21-22. Right now, there's discussion that they'll most likely go back to the legislature and increase those in those years beyond 21-22. PERS, has been increasing, and that is projected to increase out through 24-25. It gets close to 30% in 24-25. And even though we had those one-time buy downs, we did see some relief on the STRS side, but the PERS side, it's set every other year, and when they reset it this year, we still saw increases above what they had projected prior to the one-time buy down. So that was disconcerting. We use our lottery projections based on School Services of California. They provide a dartboard for school districts. A mandate block grant as well uses COLA. Those numbers are not calculated into my projections because they're so small. I left them with the COLA that they were projected with. And then our consumer price index is set by federal activity for the cost of goods and services. Our health and welfare trends anywhere between 3 to 10%. We use 5% to be conservative, and then our special ed costs have increased every year other than 2 years ago, where they kind of flattened out. I think that was when Sasha got here and started making some changes and tightening up some procedures. But we do use 5%. We did see that increase last year. Any questions?
I do have one back on the PERS and STRS. So showing that the PERS is 19%. Is that 19% increase for this year? And then next year is additional 22.7?
It's not additional, that is the rate.
That's the rate that we pay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And so this was our original MYP when we were using the original planning factors. And so you can see we projected the 6.4 for current year, but we know we typically have about 3 million fall out and carryover. We saw an increase in 2021 to 3.4 and in 21-22 to 3. And so if you remember, we said that cost of that salary increase was 3.5 million. So I feel like we had really done a good job of going through cleaning up our budget. Then with the increased revenue in the one time and with our increased enrollment, we had wiped out that deficit entirely. So. Mm-hmm.
Michael.
So for 1920, you talked about the 6.4, and usually about 3 million falls out, so it'll be right 3.4. Is that the same across the way? So if you have 3.4, you're talking about 3 generally falling out. So actually, like you're saying, it's fairly flat.
In 2021 and 21-22, we don't have the carryover in there.
So that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. That's why it's so much bigger just in 1920. That's where we have that carryover budgeted.
So you'll have whatever carryover goes into 2021, and then you'll take
it would
it out of
increase.
that,
It would look like a
okay.
deficit jumped
Okay.
up by 3 million, which is what happened from adopted to now. So in this projection, we were just under the 8% board required reserve in that third year. We were at 7.32. And so you can see I put a little asterisk next to the board required reserve in that third year to denote that it is less than the 5% that's required. But you can see in this year, when I make the adjustments for those ongoing one-time dollars, we left our revenue projections flat as far as our enrollment in ADA. So if we do have any increases, it would further increase our revenues. But I also used the lower COLA that's projected for next year. You can see that we do end in that third year above the 8%. So that's good. We still have projected deficits, but they look better in those out years. Any questions? Okay, so here are our charter schools. They're looking
Sorry,
good.
Jennifer.
Oh, sorry.
I'm working on it. There you go.
So just to clarify, this does reflect the contracts that we approved for all of the increases?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so our charters, they're looking really healthy. We have a slight deficit in Buckingham. Some of those are carryover dollars as well, and some programs that they're closing out expenditures. We have Fairmont with a surplus. Greg's done a really amazing job of tightening up that budget, but you can also see they have some pretty healthy fund balances. So it might look different at second interim. Greg has some plans for some of that fund balance, and so it might look like a deficit when we come back, but it'll be planned deficit spending one time. And then Kimmy, that's the one that's really hard to project because their enrollment increases throughout the year. And so we try to be conservative. We use the numbers from as of CBEDS, but hopefully they will increase throughout the year, and we'll see that at second interim. Fund 11 is our adult education, and in the past, we've been the consortium for the county. This year, consortium controls going back to the county, and so we're doing a transfer of funds back to them. And we also, the final allocations that were still under us as consortium head are being spent this year. So it looks like a large deficit, but it's planned, and a large chunk of that's going back to the county office. Fund 12 is our child development. That was new last year, and all the revenue that comes in gets budgeted and expended. Fund 13, our child nutrition. We have some planned deficit spending for some supplies. Juan and I happened to meet today. You know, he gets those end of month numbers to me quickly, and we just had our best week ever last week. And so he feels like come second interim, you probably won't even see a deficit at all. So he's doing great things. And now that he's got Callie, I'm so excited. They're going to be like the dynamic duo. Fund 21-22 is our building fund. That's where we take in our issuances. And so, of course, we see a big, large deficit because we issued last year. Those revenues came in last year, but we're booking a lot of our expenditures for Zanino, Markham, and the other projects in the current year. Fund 25 is our developer fees. And you can see we have some expenditures related to Markham. Remember, we put aside about $5 million for the Markham project. We spent some in last year. The remainder, most of them will be spent in the current year. Fund 35 is a new fund. We had to open it because we received some retrofit funds from the state for the project at Jepson related to earthquake retrofitting. But because the expenditures were in another fund, we were required to open Fund 35 just to take in the revenue, and then we moved it to offset the expenditures in the other fund. So you won't see any activity. Fund 40, that's where our certificates of participation, where we make those payments. Those revenues you can see are coming in higher than the payments, which is good because we need a sinking fund for those final 3 years. The Fund 51 is our bond fund, where our general obligation bonds, and those are all administered by the county office. And then Fund 71 is where our other post-employment benefits are. It's our trust for our retiree benefits, and that we book based on our actuarially determined contribution. We take the costs that we pay throughout the year, we back that out, and then what's remaining is what we contribute to the fund, so that we're trying to lower our unfunded liability, which was a good thing because it helped us with increasing our rating when we issued those bonds. Fund 73, the foundation fund, we don't have any activity booked there right now. Kelly and I are still researching what those scholarships are for, so that's why you don't see any activity. Yeah, it's been an ongoing project trying to track down the scholarships for those. So these are our certifications. We're positive. We have a healthy reserve. We do know that we have some deficits in those out years, but I think we're doing great things when we're going to see some students come in. We also have some one-time expenditures in some of those years too. I forgot to mention that. Those 2 out years each had about $500,000 in one-time expenditures. The governor will release his budget January 10th. We have a team that's going on January 16th to hear the budget proposal. We're going to bring back a presentation on a parcel revenue. I originally put January, but I forgot that I have my Washington, D.C. trip for advocacy the last week of January, so we might push it to that first meeting in February. And then we'll bring you second interim in March.
Fantastic. Questions?
Any questions?
Seeing none? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Always, yes. Okay. Do I have a?
Thumbs up all the way around.
Yay. Do I have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 first interim report as presented?
I'll make it.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none. All right, we already took care of 24E, so 24F, nominations for the 2020 California School Boards Association. Is there any nominations? Oh, I'm sorry, okay. There we go.
I nominate Mr. Silva, who's doing such a good job.
I'll second that.
All right.
Do you want it? Good job.
Promise to vote for all progressive items.
Never mind, we changed our mind.
Hang on. We have a problem.
You asked us to
A
contribute.
motion and a second nominating Mr. Silva for the position. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes. Requested that the board accept the Measure A performance audit for fiscal 2018, 2019 as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. There we go. It's requested the board approve the MOU between the Vacaville Unified School District and the Yolo Solano Teacher Induction Program, Davis Joint Unified School District, in the amount not to exceed $140,750. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second?
I'll second.
Second, motion and second, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none. It's requested that the board approve change order number 2 with American River Construction Incorporated in the increased amount of $55,475.96 for the Sierra Vista K-8 improvement projects, increment 3.
Second?
Motion and second, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none. And it's requested that the board approve, 24J, requested that the board approve the proposal with Pacific Power and Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $118,361.66 for the Buckingham Charter Magnet School Robotics Program. Do I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
Okay, and I do, but since we have it, I'd just like to get a little bit more of what that's for, so.
So this work is for, a few meetings ago, we signed into a lease for the 201 Bella Vista Road building for 2 years to house the robotics programs, and it would be for Buckingham and for Vacaville High School. And this is, that building is just a shell, so this is actually doing everything that we need to do for them to be able to operate in that building. So it's fire alarm, it's lights, it's electrical, it's a wireless generator for the Wi-Fi and that type of thing.
Mr. Kitsis?
Yeah, is that, what budget does it come out of? Is that a split budget between the charter school and the district?
That's what we're working on right now. There's, we've been trying to figure out if there's there may be, is it possible that some CTE fundings could cover this, but it's going to have to come from Buckingham's budget at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Shelley?
With the move that we're doing with Country High, why a 2-year lease? Where they're moving can't handle it?
No, it will in 2 years. One of the parts of moving them to Country High is we're going to be bringing in a couple portables from Markham, and then we'll set them up for them. So one of them will be their build room, and then the other one will be their practice room. So this is just an interim for those 2 years.
I mean, Dan's always so optimistic. It's probably, could be longer than the 2 years, because those could be interim housing too as we renovate the main campus as well, so.
And this lease is a 2-year lease with a 3rd-year option on both sides, the mutual option. So we can go another if we needed to.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, consent calendar, item number 25. Routine items on the consent calendar are enacted by the board in one motion. Discussion only occurs if members of the board, administration, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Let's see. Okay, future business, 26, regular governing board meeting, January 16th, and another one on January 30th. Thank you very much to staff and everyone else for attending. Have a great night. Sorry. So I'll adjourn this meeting, right? And then we'll go to the special meeting. All right, and I'll call to order the special governing board meeting. You're not done yet. Yeah, we're here. No. We have a quorum. Approval of the agenda, no changes to the agenda? No. Do I have a motion for the agenda?
I'll make it.
Second?
Motion second, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Anybody from the floor like to speak on an item not on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move. It's recommended that the board approve the memorandum of understanding with the Vacaville Teachers Association to establish the 2019-2020 Certificated Non-Management Early Retirement Resignation Incentive. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Yep.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Now this meeting is adjourned and we're done for tonight. No closed session, so thank you very much.